Jin Woo stood in the recreation room of the starship Unity Dawn and watched the three small aliens run in circles. The cubs belonged to Captain Veltar, and they had more energy than Jin Woo had ever seen in any creature. Their fur was soft and purple, and their large eyes glowed with excitement. They made high-pitched sounds as they chased each other around the room. "How long have they been running like this?" Heywan asked as she walked into the room. She carried a tray with drinks and snacks. Her dark hair was tied back, and she looked tired. She had been working in the engine room all morning. 2 hours, Jinwoo said with a sigh. He rubbed his face with both hands. "I tried to make them sit down. I tried to show them games on the computer. I tried everything. They just want to run." Heywan put the tray down on a table and laughed. "They are children. All children have too much energy. Remember when we were kids? We never wanted to sit still either." The smallest cub, whose name was Pip, ran straight into Jinwoo's legs. The impact was gentle, but it made Jinwoo stumble backward. Pip looked up at him and made a sound that seemed like laughter. The other two cubs, Mira and Tak, joined their sibling and started pulling on Jinwoo's uniform pants. Okay, Jinwoo said. He knelt down to their level. "You need to calm down. Your parent will be back in 3 hours. Can you please be good?" The cubs did not understand his words. They spoke a different language, one that Jinwoo had not learned yet, but they understood his tone. Pip tilted her small head and touched Jinwoo's face with a tiny paw. Her eyes were curious and bright. Heywan sat down on the soft carpet and patted the space next to her. "Come here, little ones. Let me tell you a story." The cubs looked at her but did not move. They were not interested in stories. Mira started climbing on the furniture. Tak found a ball and threw it across the room. Pip stayed with Jinwoo but began pulling his hair. "This is not working," Jinwoo said. He gently removed Pip's paws from his hair. "We need a better plan." "What did you do when you were young and had too much energy?" Heywan asked. She stood up and walked over to catch Mira before the cub could knock over a plant. Jinwoo thought about his childhood. He remembered running in the fields near his home. He remembered playing with his cousins. Then he remembered something that always made him laugh. "My brother and I used to have pillow fights." "Pillow fights?" Heywan raised an eyebrow. "You want to teach alien cubs to hit each other with pillows?" "Not hit," Jinwoo corrected. "Play. It was always fun. We would laugh so much. And afterward, we were always tired enough to sleep." Heywan considered this. She looked at the three cubs who were now trying to open a storage cabinet. "It might work. At least it will use up their energy. But where do we find pillows?" Jinwoo pointed to the sleeping area connected to the recreation room. "There are cushions on the benches. We can use those." They gathered several soft cushions from the benches. The cushions were made for the crew to rest during long shifts. They were light and filled with soft material. Jinwoo held one cushion and showed it to the cubs. "Look," he said. "This is fun." He gently tapped Heywan on the shoulder with the cushion. Heywan pretended to be shocked. She grabbed another cushion and tapped Jinwoo back. "Oh no, you did not just do that!" The cubs stopped what they were doing. Their large eyes watched the two humans with great interest. Jinwoo and Heywan continued their demonstration. They took turns gently hitting each other with the cushions. They made exaggerated movements and laughed loudly. They fell down dramatically when hit and then jumped back up. Pip was the first to understand. She grabbed a small cushion with her paws and waved it in the air. The cushion was almost as big as she was. She wobbled toward Tak and swung the cushion. It hit Tak softly on the side. Tak made a surprise sound and then grabbed his own cushion. Within minutes, all three cubs were involved. They swung their cushions with enthusiasm. Their aim was not very good, and they often missed each other completely. But they were laughing. The high-pitched sounds they made were clearly sounds of joy. Jinwoo and Heywan joined in. They made sure to be very gentle with the cubs. The cushions were soft, so nobody could get hurt. The room filled with the sounds of laughter and playful shouts. Feathers from inside the cushions began to float in the air like snow. Mira discovered that she could hit 2 targets at once if she spun around fast. She tried this technique and ended up falling over. She lay on the carpet for a moment, then started laughing even harder. The other cubs thought this was hilarious and copied her, spinning until they fell down. "This is working," Heywan said to Jinwoo. She was breathing hard from all the activity, her face was red, and she had feathers in her hair. "Look at them. They are having so much fun." Jinwoo smiled. He blocked a cushion that talked through at him and gently tossed it back. "I told you. Pillow fights are the best. This is what human children do when they have too much energy." What Jinwoo and Haiwan did not know was that they were being watched. The ship had security cameras in every room. These cameras were always recording. The footage was monitored by the security team and the medical bay. Right now, several alien crew members were staring at their screens with growing concern. In the medical bay, Dr. Thelvar watched the scene with wide eyes. The doctor was a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms. Thelvar had been a doctor for 30 years and had seen many things. But this was new. This was strange. This was alarming. "What are the humans doing to the captain's cubs?" Thelvar asked. The doctor's voice was filled with worry. A medical assistant named Korval came to look at the screen. Korval's scales changed color from green to orange, which meant confusion. "It appears to be some form of combat training," Korval said slowly. "But why are they training cubs? The cubs are too young for combat training." Thelvar watched as Jinwoo swung a cushion and hit Pip gently. The cub fell down and then got back up laughing. To the alien doctor, this looked like a training exercise. The humans were teaching the cubs how to take hits and recover quickly. They were teaching them how to attack and defend. "This must be a human tradition," Thelvar said. "I have read about human warriors. They are very strong, very dangerous. Perhaps they start training their young at a very early age." Korval made a sound of agreement. "Should we alert the captain?" "Not yet," Thelvar said. "First, we must prepare. If this is human combat training, there will be injuries. We must be ready." The doctor pressed a button on the wall. An alarm sounded softly through the medical bay. Other medical staff began to arrive, ready to respond to an emergency. Back in the recreation room, the pillow fight continued. Jinwoo, Haiwan, and the 3 cubs were completely unaware of the concern they had caused. They were simply playing, laughing, and having fun. The cubs were finally getting tired, just as Jinwoo had hoped. Soon they would be ready for a nap, and Jinwoo and Haiwan could rest too. But the medical bay was now on high alert, preparing for what they believed would be serious injuries from this dangerous human training method. Dr. Thelvar could not stop watching the screen. The medical bay was now filled with 6 staff members, all of them staring at the footage from the recreation room. They watched as the 2 humans continued what they believed was combat training with the captain's cubs. "Look at the technique," said Korval, pointing at the screen. "The human male, Jinwoo, is teaching the smallest cub how to dodge. See how he swings slowly so the cub can move out of the way?" Another medical assistant, a female named Pixin, nodded her large head. "And the female human, Haiwan, is showing the cubs how to fall properly. She drops to the ground and rolls. This is advanced combat teaching." Thelvar pressed a button to zoom in on the screen. The doctor watched carefully as Pip swung her cushion and hit Jinwoo on the leg. Jinwoo pretended to be hurt and fell down dramatically. The cub made happy sounds and jumped up and down. "Interesting," Thelvar said quietly. "The human is teaching the cub about confidence. When the cub lands a hit, the human acts defeated. This builds the cub's courage. It is actually quite clever." Korval brought up information on the computer. "I am reading about human culture now. It says here that humans are one of the few species that evolved as persistence hunters. They chased their prey for hours until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. This made them very strong mentally and physically. What else does it say? Pixin asked. She was preparing medical supplies on a large table. She laid out bandages, healing gel, and diagnostic tools. It says that humans have very high pain tolerance compared to most species. Corval continued reading. They can continue fighting even with serious injuries. Their bodies produce chemicals that block pain during combat situations. Thelvar felt worried. If human children trained like this from a young age, no wonder humans were such effective warriors. The doctor had met several humans since they joined the galactic community 5 years ago. They had always seemed friendly and peaceful, but maybe that was because they were so confident in their abilities. They did not need to show aggression because they knew they could win any fight. "Should we inform Captain Veltar?" Pixin asked. She was the newest member of the medical team and was still learning about different species. "The captain is in an important meeting with the Federation representatives," Thelvar said. "We cannot disturb that meeting unless there is an emergency. For now, we watch and prepare." On the screen, Mira had just discovered a new technique. The cub grabbed 2 cushions, one in each paw, and started swinging them both at the same time. This made the other cubs laugh and try to copy her. Soon, all 3 cubs had 2 cushions each and were spinning around like small purple tornadoes. "Dual weapon training," Corval said with amazement. "They are teaching cubs to use 2 weapons at once. This is very advanced." Thelvar made notes on a datapad. "We must document this. The Galactic Federation needs to know about human training methods. This could change how we understand human society." In the recreation room, Jinwoo was getting tired. He sat down on the carpet to catch his breath. Haiwan joined him, and they both laughed as they watched the cubs continue their game. The cubs were finally starting to slow down. Their movements were less energetic, and their swings were getting weaker. "I think it is working," Haiwan said. She wiped sweat from her forehead. "They are getting tired." "Finally," Jinwoo replied. He lay down flat on the carpet and closed his eyes. "I am tired too. Who knew playing with children could be such hard work?" Pip walked over to Jinwoo and dropped her cushion on his chest. She then lay down next to him, curling her small body against his side. Her breathing was heavy from all the exercise. Haiwan smiled at the sight. "Look at that. She likes you." "She is warm," Jinwoo said without opening his eyes, "like a fuzzy little heater." Tak and Mira were still playing, but their movements were much slower now. They were swinging their cushions in slow motion, almost like they were moving through water. Every few seconds, one of them would yawn, showing their tiny teeth. In the medical bay, the staff noticed the change in activity. The humans and cubs were resting. But to the alien medical team, this looked like the cool-down phase after intense training. "They are resting now," Pixin observed. "This means the training session is ending." Thelvar nodded. "We should prepare to receive them. After intense physical training, young bodies need to be checked. There could be muscle strain, joint stress, or internal bruising." "But they look fine," Pixin said, confused. "Nobody appears to be injured." "That is because humans have high pain tolerance," Corval reminded her. "The cubs might be hurt but not showing it, and the humans definitely taught them not to show weakness. That is part of combat training." Thelvar started giving orders to the team. "Corval, prepare the scanning equipment. We need to do full body scans on all 3 cubs. Pixin, get the healing chambers ready just in case. Lorvan, contact the nutritional department. After intense training, the cubs will need special food to help their muscles recover." The medical bay became busy with preparation. Staff members rushed around, setting up equipment and checking supplies. They had handled many medical situations before, but this was their first time dealing with what they believed was human combat training for children. Meanwhile, a message was sent to the ship's security officer, a large alien named Grixton. Grixton was responsible for the safety of everyone on the ship. When the security officer received the message about combat training in the recreation room, Grixton immediately pulled up the camera footage. Grixton watched the entire pillow fight from the beginning. The security officer saw the humans demonstrating the activity, saw the cubs joining in, saw everyone laughing and playing, but like the medical team, Grixton interpreted everything through the lens of combat training. "This is remarkable," Grixton said to the deputy security officer. "The humans are teaching tactical awareness through simulated combat. Look how they teach the cubs about spacing, timing, and recovery. This is genius." The deputy officer, whose name was Yalmin, agreed. "Should we add this to our security training program? Our security teams could benefit from this kind of exercise." "Perhaps," Grixton said thoughtfully. "But first we must understand it better. I will request a meeting with the humans. They should teach us their methods properly." Back in the recreation room, all three cubs were now lying down. Tak and Mira had joined Pip next to Jin Woo and Hai Wan. The cubs were curled up together in a small pile of purple fur. Their eyes were closed and they were breathing slowly and deeply. "They are asleep," Hai Wan whispered. She did not want to wake them up. "Thank goodness," Jin Woo whispered back. He carefully moved his arm, which had gone numb under Pip's weight. "I thought they would never get tired." "What time is the captain coming back?" Hai Wan asked quietly. Jin Woo checked his watch. "In about 2 hours. We should probably clean up this mess." He looked around the room. Cushions were scattered everywhere. Feathers floated in the air and covered the floor like snow. The room looked like a tornado had gone through it. "Let them sleep for a while first," Hai Wan said. "They need rest after all that playing. We can clean up later." Jin Woo agreed. He closed his eyes and let himself relax. Playing with the cubs had been exhausting, but it had also been fun. He smiled, remembering how happy the cubs had looked while playing. It reminded him of his own childhood, of simple games and innocent fun. What Jin Woo did not know was that the medical bay was now preparing to receive the cubs as if they were coming from a battlefield. Dr. Thelvar had activated the emergency protocols. The trauma units were on standby. The healing chambers were warming up. Every piece of advanced medical equipment in the bay was being checked and prepared. The ship's medical team truly believed that the cubs had just completed intense combat training. They believed that injuries were likely, even if not immediately visible. They were ready to handle any medical emergency that might arise from this human training method. The medical staff waited, watching the screen, ready to spring into action the moment the cubs woke up. They had no idea that what they had witnessed was simply a children's game, a harmless way for kids to burn off energy and have fun. To them, it was proof that humans were warriors who trained their young from the earliest possible age. And this misunderstanding was about to get much bigger. The cubs slept for about 30 minutes. When they woke up, they were much calmer than before. They stretched their small bodies and made soft, sleepy sounds. Pip yawned widely, showing all her tiny teeth. Tak rubbed his eyes with his paws. Mira stood up slowly and shook her purple fur. Jin Woo and Hai Wan had used the quiet time to clean up the recreation room. They had picked up all the cushions and put them back on the benches. They had swept up most of the feathers, though some still floated in the air. The room looked almost normal again. "Are you hungry, little ones?" Hai Wan asked the cubs. She knew they probably did not understand her words, but she hoped they would understand her tone. The cubs looked at her with interest. Mira made a sound that seemed like agreement. Jin Woo went to the food storage unit and pulled out some of the special snacks that Captain Veltar had left for the cubs. The snacks looked like small blue berries and smelled sweet. Just as Jin Woo was about to give the snacks to the cubs, The door to the recreation room opened with a loud hiss. Dr. Thelvar rushed in, followed by Korval and Pixen. They were pushing a floating medical cart filled with equipment. "Please step back," Thelvar said quickly. The doctor's 4 arms moved rapidly, reaching for scanning devices and medical tools. "We need to examine the cubs immediately." Jinwoo and Haiwan looked at each other in confusion. "Examine them?" Jinwoo asked. "Why?" "They are fine. They were just playing." "Playing?" Korval repeated the word slowly, as if testing it. "You call that combat training playing?" "Combat training?" Haiwan's eyes went wide. "What are you talking about? We were having a pillow fight. It is a game." Thelvar did not listen. The doctor was already scanning Pip with a handheld device. The device made soft beeping sounds and displayed information on a small screen. "Elevated heart rate," Thelvar said. "Increased body temperature. Muscle fatigue indicators present." "Of course her heart rate is up," Jinwoo said. "She was running around and playing. That is normal for children after exercise." Pixen was examining Talk with another scanner. "Minor stress markers in the bloodstream, adrenaline levels higher than normal. This cub has clearly been through intense physical activity." "Yes, playing," Haiwan said again. She was starting to feel frustrated. "Children have higher heart rates and body temperatures when they play. This is normal. This is healthy." But the medical team was not convinced. They had studied the footage. They had analyzed human combat history. They were certain that what they had witnessed was training, not a simple game. Thelvar gently picked up Pip and placed her on the medical cart. "We need to take the cubs to the medical bay for a full examination. We must check for internal injuries, muscle tears, and joint damage." "There are no injuries," Jinwoo stepped forward. "Look at them. They are happy and healthy. We would never hurt the captain's children." The cubs did not understand what was happening. They saw the strange devices and the worried faces of the medical staff. Pip started making distressed sounds. Mira hid behind Haiwan's legs. Talk tried to climb up onto Jinwoo's shoulder. "You are scaring them," Haiwan said. She knelt down and gently picked up Mira. "Please, you need to calm down. Nothing is wrong. We were just playing a human game." Thelvar looked at the 2 humans carefully. The doctor could see that they truly believed what they were saying. But Thelvar had seen the footage. The doctor had watched the cubs being hit with objects multiple times. Even if the objects were soft, repeated impacts could cause damage. "Perhaps human children are trained differently than other species," Thelvar said slowly. "Perhaps what seems normal to you is actually quite dangerous for others. These cubs are not human. Their bodies are different. They might not be able to handle the same level of physical stress." Jinwoo suddenly understood. The medical team thought he and Haiwan had been too rough with the cubs. They thought the pillow fight was harmful. "Doctor, I promise you, we were very gentle. The cushions are soft. Nobody hit anyone hard. It was all gentle and fun." Korval pulled up a video on a datapad and showed it to Jinwoo. "Look at this moment. You swing the cushion and hit the small cub. The cub falls down. How is this gentle?" Jinwoo watched the video clip. He saw himself tap Pip lightly with the cushion. He saw Pip fall down dramatically and then laugh. "She was pretending," Jinwoo explained. "Look, she is laughing. She fell down on purpose because it was funny." "Pretending to be hurt is part of combat training," Korval said. "It teaches warriors not to show weakness to their enemies." Haiwan made a sound of disbelief. "This is crazy. We were not training anyone to fight. We were playing. Playing. It is what children do for fun." At that moment, Security Officer Grixton entered the room. The large alien had to duck to fit through the doorway. Grixton's presence made the room feel much smaller. "I came to observe the situation," Grixton said in a deep voice. "The medical team reported concerns about the cubs' welfare." "There is nothing to be concerned about," Jinwoo said. He was trying to stay calm, but this situation was getting out of control. "We were babysitting. The cubs had a lot of energy, so we played a game with them, a harmless, fun game that human children play all the time. Grixton looked at the cubs. They did appear to be healthy. They were not crying or showing signs of pain, but Grixton had also watched the footage. "This game you played," Grixton said. "Can you explain its purpose?" "Its purpose is to have fun," Haywan said, "and to use up energy so children can sleep better. That is all. There is no combat training. There is no tactical awareness. It is just play." "But you taught them to dodge," Grixton pointed out. "You taught them to fall safely. You taught them to use two objects at once. These are combat skills." Jinwoo rubbed his face with both hands. He was tired, and this conversation was making his head hurt. Those things just happen naturally when you play pillow fight. You dodge because you do not want to get hit, even if the hit does not hurt. You fall down because it is funny. You use two cushions because it makes the game more interesting. None of this is on purpose. It is just play. Thelvar was checking Mira now. The doctor ran the scanner over the cub's body and studied the results. Everything appeared normal. The cub's heart rate was returning to normal levels. There were no signs of internal damage, no broken bones, no torn muscles. The cub was, by all medical measures, perfectly healthy. "The scans show no injuries," Thelvar admitted slowly. "But that does not mean the activity was safe. Perhaps the cubs were simply lucky this time." "It was not luck," Haywan said firmly. "It was a safe activity. Humans have been playing pillow fights for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. We know it is safe because we have done it so many times." Pixon finished scanning talk. "This cub is also healthy. No injuries detected." Korval scanned Pip one more time. "This one is healthy too, but her stress hormones are still elevated." "Because you are scaring her with all these machines," Jinwoo said. He took Pip from the medical cart and held her gently. The cub immediately calmed down and snuggled against his chest. "See? She is fine. She just needs comfort, not medical examination." Grixton watched all of this carefully. The security officer was trained to assess threats and understand situations. Something was not adding up. The humans seemed genuinely confused by the medical team's concern. The cubs seemed healthy and happy, not traumatized or injured. Maybe there was a misunderstanding here. "Tell me more about this pillow fighting," Grixton said. "When do human children do this activity? How often? Under what circumstances?" Jinwoo was happy that someone was finally asking reasonable questions. "Children do it at sleepovers, at parties, sometimes just when they are bored and have energy to burn. It is very common. Almost every human child has done it at some point." "And adults supervise this?" Grixton asked. "Sometimes yes, sometimes no," Haywan answered. "It depends. Usually parents trust children to play safely on their own. But if the children are very young, like these cubs, then yes, adults watch to make sure everyone is being gentle and having fun." "And injuries?" Grixton pressed. "How often do children get hurt during this activity?" "Almost never," Jinwoo said. "The worst that usually happens is someone gets hit in the face by accident and maybe their nose hurts for a minute. Or sometimes a cushion breaks and feathers go everywhere and parents get annoyed about the mess. But real injuries? Very rare." Thelvar was listening to all of this. The doctor was beginning to wonder if perhaps there had been a misunderstanding. But the footage had looked so violent. The impacts, the falling, the repeated hits. How could that be just playing? "In your culture," Thelvar asked carefully, "what is the difference between playing and training?" Jinwoo thought about this question. "Playing is about having fun. The goal is to laugh and enjoy yourself. Training is about learning skills. The goal is to get better at something. I guess sometimes they can overlap, but the intention is different." "And today," Grixton said, "your intention was only to help the cubs have fun." "Yes, both humans said at the same time. We just wanted them to be happy and tired, HFY added, so they would sleep when Captain Veltar came back. That is all. Grixton looked at Thelvar. The security officer and the doctor had a silent conversation with their eyes. They were both beginning to realize that they might have jumped to conclusions, but neither wanted to admit it immediately. The door opened again, and this time Captain Veltar entered the recreation room. The captain was tall and elegant, with the same purple fur as the cubs, but darker and more sleek. Veltar's eyes swept across the room, taking in the scene. The medical team with their equipment, the security officer standing large and imposing, and the two humans each holding a cub. What is happening here? Veltar's voice was calm, but held a tone of authority. Why is my medical team examining my children? Thelvar stepped forward quickly. Captain, we observed the humans conducting combat training with your cubs. We wanted to ensure there were no injuries from the activity. Combat training? Veltar's eyes narrowed. The captain looked at Jinwoo and HFY. You were teaching my children to fight? No, Jinwoo said quickly. No, absolutely not. We were playing a game, a human children's game called pillow fighting. It looked very aggressive on the security footage, Grixton added. The cubs were being hit repeatedly with objects. They were falling down. There was a lot of physical contact. Veltar walked over to Jinwoo and gently took Pip from his arms. The captain examined the cub carefully, looking for any signs of distress or injury. Pip seemed perfectly happy. She was making soft, content sounds and trying to grab her parents' ears. She seems fine, Veltar said slowly. Talk? Mira, come here. The other two cubs ran to their parent. They climbed up Veltar's legs and settled on the captain's shoulders. They were clearly happy to see their parent and showed no signs of fear or pain. Can someone explain to me exactly what happened? Veltar asked. From the beginning. HFY took a deep breath and began to explain. The cubs had a lot of energy. They were running around and would not sit still. We tried to calm them down, but nothing worked. So Jinwoo suggested a pillow fight. It is a traditional human activity for children. What is the purpose of this activity? Veltar asked. To have fun and use up energy, Jinwoo said. Children hit each other gently with soft cushions. They laugh and play. After a while, they get tired and are ready to rest. It is completely harmless. But we observed combat techniques, Korval interjected. Dodging, falling, dual weapon use. These are clearly tactical skills. Jinwoo shook his head. Those things happen naturally during play. Children dodge because the game is more fun that way. They fall down because it is silly and makes everyone laugh. Some use 2 cushions just to be creative. It is not training. It is just natural play behavior. Veltar was quiet for a moment, thinking. The captain had been part of the galactic community for many years and had learned about many different species. But humans were still relatively new. Their culture was still being understood. Show me, Veltar said finally. Show you? HFY asked, confused. Show me this pillow fighting, Veltar said. Demonstrate it for me so I can see what you mean. Jinwoo and HFY looked at each other. Then Jinwoo shrugged. Okay, we can do that. He picked up 2 cushions and handed one to HFY. They moved to the center of the room. Ready? Jinwoo asked HFY with a smile. Ready, she replied, grinning. They began to play fight with the cushions, just as they had done before. They swung gently at each other. They dodged and laughed. They made exaggerated movements and silly sounds. Jinwoo pretended to be hit hard and fell down dramatically. HFY did a little victory dance, and then Jinwoo jumped up and tapped her with the cushion while she was distracted. The cubs watched with excitement. They made happy sounds and tried to climb down from their parent to join in. Veltar held them back gently, watching the humans carefully. After a few minutes, Jin Woo and Hei Wan stopped. They were both laughing and slightly out of breath. "That is pillow fighting," Jin Woo said. "That is all it is. Just silly fun." Veltar studied them. The captain could see the joy in their faces, could see that they were genuinely enjoying themselves. This was not the face of warriors training for battle. This was the face of people playing a game they loved. "I see," Veltar said slowly. "And human children do this often?" "Very often," Haiwan confirmed. "At birthday parties, at sleepovers, on lazy weekends. It is a very normal part of human childhood." Thelvar was watching all of this with fascination. The doctor was beginning to understand. "So this activity serves no practical purpose beyond entertainment?" "That is correct," Jin Woo said. "The only purpose is to have fun." "But the skills learned could be applied to combat," Grixton pointed out. "Even if that is not the intention, the children are still developing physical awareness and reflexes." Jin Woo thought about this. "I suppose that is true. But we also learn coordination from throwing balls. We learn strength from climbing trees. We learn balance from riding bicycles. Many childhood games help develop physical skills, but that does not make them combat training. They are still just games." Veltar nodded slowly. The captain was beginning to understand human culture a bit better now. "So when humans play, they often engage in activities that look aggressive, but are actually harmless?" "Yes," Haiwan said. "We have many games like that. Tag, where you chase and touch people. Wrestling, where you pretend to fight. Even many sports involve physical contact, but it is all done in fun, with rules, and everyone knows that the goal is to play, not to hurt anyone." "Fascinating," Veltar said. The captain looked at the medical team and security officer. "It appears we have misunderstood human culture. What looked like combat training to us was actually just innocent play." Thelvar still looked concerned. "But Captain, even innocent play can cause injuries if species are not compatible. Perhaps the cubs should not engage in human activities." "The cubs loved it," Jin Woo said. "Look at them. They are happy and healthy. And they finally calmed down, which was what we needed." Veltar looked at the three cubs. They did seem content and relaxed. Much calmer than when the captain had left them that morning. "My children do have a lot of energy," Veltar admitted. "I often struggle to tire them out. You said that after this pillow fighting they became calm?" "They played for about 20 minutes, Haiwan explained. Then they were tired and took a nap. When they woke up, they were much more peaceful. The game helped them release all their excess energy in a safe way." "Remarkable," Veltar said. "Perhaps there is value in this human approach after all." Grixton spoke up. "Captain, with your permission, I would like to learn more about human play activities. If they can be used to train physical skills while maintaining a sense of fun, they might be valuable for our security teams. Many of our officers complain that training is boring." Jin Woo laughed. "I am not sure pillow fighting would help security officers, but there are other human games that might interest you. Team sports, obstacle courses, competitive games. We have many activities that combine physical challenge with entertainment." "I would be interested in learning about those," Grixton said. "Perhaps you could give a presentation to the security department?" "Sure," Jin Woo agreed. "That sounds fun." Thelvar was making notes on a data pad. "I must update our cultural database about human play behavior. This is important information. When human children are observed engaging in physical activities, we should not immediately assume it is combat training." "That would be good," Haiwan said with relief. "We would not want another misunderstanding like this." Veltar set the cubs down gently. They immediately ran over to the cushions that were still on the floor. Pip picked one up and waved it at her siblings. Talk grabbed another cushion, and the two cubs began to gently tap each other with them, mimicking what they had learned from the humans. Everyone in the room watched as the cubs played. Their movements were clumsy and uncoordinated, but they were clearly having fun. They made happy sounds and chased each other around the room. "They remember the game," Veltar observed, "and they want to play it again." "Is that okay?" Jinwoo asked. "We can stop them if you want." Veltar thought for a moment, then smiled. It was the first time the humans had seen the captain smile. "No, let them play. I can see that it makes them happy. And you are right, it is harmless. I was simply confused because in my culture, we do not have games that involve hitting, even gently. This is a new concept for me." "Different species, different games," Haywan said. "That is what makes the galactic community interesting. We all have different ways of having fun." "Indeed," Veltar agreed. "I am glad my children have the opportunity to learn about human culture, even if that culture confuses our medical staff." The captain looked at Thelvar with gentle amusement. Thelvar's blue skin turned a slightly darker shade, which was the alien equivalent of blushing. "I apologize for the overreaction, Captain. We were simply concerned for the cubs' safety." "Your concern is appreciated," Veltar said. "But in the future, perhaps ask questions before assuming the worst. Not every physical activity is combat training." "Understood, Captain," Thelvar said. Grixton also apologized. "I, too, jumped to conclusions. I should have investigated more thoroughly before supporting the medical team's concerns." "We all learned something today," Veltar said. "About humans, about different cultures, and about the importance of understanding before judging. That is valuable." Jinwoo felt relieved. The situation had been resolved peacefully. Nobody was in trouble. The cubs were happy, and maybe the ship's crew now understood humans a little better. News of the pillow fight incident spread quickly through the ship. By the next day, everyone on the Unity Dawn had heard about it. The story was told and retold in the cafeteria, in the engine room, in every corner of the vessel. Most crew members found it amusing. Some were fascinated. A few were still confused. Jinwoo and Haiwan had become minor celebrities on the ship. Everywhere they went, other crew members stopped them to ask questions about human childhood games. Some asked out of curiosity. Others asked because they wanted to learn these games for themselves. 3 days after the incident, Grixton organized a special presentation in the main meeting room. The room was large enough to hold 50 people, and every seat was filled. Crew members from all departments had come to learn about human play activities. Even Captain Veltar was there, sitting in the front row with the 3 cubs. Jinwoo stood at the front of the room next to a large screen. Heywan was beside him, along with 2 other humans from the ship, a male named Dae-hyun, who worked in engineering, and a female named Young Mi, who was a botanist. "Thank you all for coming," Jinwoo began. "Today we are going to talk about human games and play. We understand that some of our activities might look strange or even dangerous to other species. But we hope this presentation will help everyone understand that these games are just our way of having fun." The screen behind him lit up with images of human children playing various games. There were pictures of kids playing tag, jumping rope, building sandcastles, playing catch, and yes, having pillow fights. "Humans believe that play is very important for child development," Heywan explained. "Through play, children learn social skills. They learn how to share, how to take turns, how to work together. They also learn physical skills like running, jumping, and coordination." An alien crew member raised a hand. It was Pixon from the medical bay. "But why do so many human games involve chasing or hitting? Why not more peaceful activities?" Dae-hyun answered this question. "Humans are physically active creatures. Our ancestors survived by moving, running, and using their bodies. So our play naturally involves physical activity, but the violence you see is not real violence. It is pretend. Everyone knows it is pretend. That is why we can enjoy it without anyone getting hurt." Young Mi added, "We do have peaceful games too, board games, card games, puzzles, but physical games are popular because they help children burn energy. A tired child is a happy, well-behaved child. Many of the aliens in the room who had children nodded at this universal truth. The presentation continued. The humans showed videos of different games. They explained the rules, the purposes, and the benefits of each game. They showed hopscotch, which taught balance and counting. They showed hide and seek, which taught problem-solving and spatial awareness. They showed simple ball games, which taught hand-eye coordination. When they got to the section about pillow fighting, everyone in the room leaned forward with interest. This was what they had all come to see. Pillow fighting is a classic human children's game, Jinwoo said. It has been around for as long as we have had pillows. The rules are simple. You hit each other with soft cushions or pillows. The goal is to have fun, not to win. Usually, there is no winner or loser. Everyone just plays until they get tired. Why do children enjoy being hit? Asked an alien from the navigation department. They enjoy the challenge, Haewon explained. The fun is in trying to hit others while avoiding being hit yourself. It is like a very gentle form of sparring. But again, it is all pretend. The hits do not hurt. The falls are exaggerated for comedy. It is basically physical theater. Veltar spoke up from the front row. I have been watching my cubs play this game over the last few days. I have noticed something interesting. When they play pillow fight, they are more confident. They move more freely. They seem happier. I think this game has been good for them. This comment sparked discussion among the aliens. Many of them had noticed their own children becoming more withdrawn or inactive on the ship. Space travel was boring for young ones. There was not much room to run and play. Maybe human games could help. Could our children play these games too? Someone asked. Or are they only safe for human children? Most of these games can be adapted for any species, Young Mi said. You just need to make sure everyone understands the rules and that everyone is being gentle. The key is that play should always be fun, never scary or painful. Grixton stood up to address the room. I have been thinking about this from a security perspective. The humans are right that these games do develop useful skills, physical awareness, reflexes, teamwork. But more importantly, they make training fun. Our security drills are effective but boring. Our team members do them because they have to, not because they want to. Maybe we can learn from human play culture. This idea excited many people in the room. The security officers especially liked it. They wanted their training to be more engaging. We could help design some activities, Daehyun offered. We could create games that are both fun and teach useful skills. Maybe something like obstacle courses or team challenges. I would like that, Grixton said. Let us meet later to discuss details. Dr. Thelvar also stood up. I want to apologize again to Jinwoo and Haewon. I jumped to conclusions without fully understanding the situation. I have learned an important lesson about different cultures. What seems dangerous in one culture might be completely normal in another. I should have asked questions before raising alarms. No harm done, Jinwoo said with a smile. You were just trying to protect the cubs. We understand that. Still, Thelvar continued, I think this incident has taught all of us something valuable. It has taught us that humans have a unique way of balancing playfulness with practical learning. They do not separate fun from education. They combine them. This is actually very wise. Many aliens in the room made sounds of agreement. They were beginning to see humans in a new light. Before, they had thought of humans as efficient workers and capable fighters. Now they saw that humans were also playful, creative, and good at making difficult things enjoyable. After the presentation, many crew members came forward to talk to the humans. Some wanted to learn specific games. Others wanted advice on how to help their own children be more active. A few security officers wanted to schedule training sessions. The cubs had been relatively quiet during the presentation, but now they were getting restless. Pip tugged on Jinwoo's pants, and he looked down at her. She was holding a small cushion that she had somehow smuggled into the meeting room. "You want to play?" Jinwoo asked with a laugh. Pip nodded eagerly. Talk and Mira also came forward with cushions. Within seconds, a spontaneous pillow fight broke out right there in the meeting room. The cubs attacked Jinwoo and Haiwan with their cushions, squealing with joy. Some of the alien crew members watched with amusement. Others joined in, grabbing cushions from chairs and playfully tapping each other. Soon, half the meeting room was engaged in a gentle, laughing pillow fight. Veltar watched from the side, a smile on the captain's face. This was not something that would have happened on this ship a week ago. The crew had always been professional and serious, but now they were playing, laughing, acting like children, and somehow that made them seem more alive, more happy. Grixton stood next to the captain. "Your humans have brought something new to this ship," the security officer said. "They have brought joy." "Yes," Veltar agreed. "I think we had forgotten how to play. We are all so focused on our duties, on being efficient, on following protocols. But humans remind us that life should also be fun." "Do you think other ships should learn about this?" Grixton asked. "Should we share what we have learned with the rest of the fleet?" Veltar thought about it. "Yes, I think we should. Many ships have families on board. Many crews are stressed and tired. Learning to play, learning to have fun while still being professional, this could help everyone." Over the next few weeks, word spread beyond the Unity Dawn. Other ships in the fleet heard about the human games. Some captains requested demonstrations. Some asked for written guides. The humans on the Unity Dawn found themselves becoming teachers, sharing their culture's approach to play with the entire galactic community. Jinwoo never imagined that a simple pillow fight would have such an impact. But that was the thing about cultural exchange. Sometimes the smallest, silliest things could bridge the biggest gaps between species. Haiwan started a weekly play session in the recreation room. Any crew member, regardless of species or age, was welcome to come and learn human games. The sessions were always full. People came to play tag, to jump rope, to toss balls, and yes, to have pillow fights. The medical bay updated its cultural database with detailed information about human play behavior. Thelvar personally wrote a guide for medical staff across the fleet. Understanding physical play in human culture. The guide helped prevent other medical teams from making the same mistake. Grixton worked with the human crew to develop new training programs for security teams. These programs combined physical challenges with game-like elements. The security officers loved them. Training attendance increased by 40%. Performance scores improved. And most importantly, the officers were happy. The three cubs became regular visitors to Jinwoo and Haiwan's quarters. Whenever they had energy to burn, their parent would bring them to the humans for a play session. The cubs learned many games, but pillow fighting remained their favorite. One evening, Jinwoo and Haiwan were relaxing in their quarters after a long day. They were drinking tea and talking about their families back on Earth. Suddenly, the door chimed. "Come in," Haiwan called. Captain Veltar entered with the three cubs. "I hope I am not disturbing you," the captain said, "but the cubs insisted on seeing you before bedtime. They wanted to say goodnight." The cubs ran to the humans and climbed onto their laps. Pip handed Jinwoo a small handmade card. It had a drawing on it, made with colorful markers. The drawing showed stick figures playing with cushions. One figure had black hair like Jinwoo. Another had long hair like Haiwan. Three smaller figures were clearly the cubs. "They made this for you," Veltar explained. "To say thank you for teaching them to play." Jinwoo felt a warm feeling in his chest. "This is beautiful," he said softly. "Thank you, little ones." Haiwan hugged Mira and Talk gently. "You are very welcome. We love playing with you." After the cubs left, Jinwoo hung the drawing on the wall of his quarters. It was a simple picture, made by children. But it represented something important. It represented understanding between species. It represented the breaking down of barriers through something as simple as play. "We did something good," Haiwan said, looking at the picture. "We did," Jinwu agreed. "We showed them that humans are not just workers or warriors. We are also playful. We are also silly. We are also capable of joy." "And they taught us something too," Haiwan added. "They taught us that even when cultures are very different, everyone understands play. Everyone understands fun. That is something all species have in common." From that day forward, the Unity Dawn was known throughout the fleet as the Happy Ship. The crew was more relaxed, more creative, and more connected than any other ship in the galactic community. Other captains studied their example, trying to figure out their secret. But there was no secret. There was only the simple wisdom that humans had known for thousands of years. Life is better when you remember how to play.